What's going on, guys? Welcome to Wednesday Walks with Drew. This is Anthony Alfieri, our tech guy. I'm Drew Barker. It's Wednesday. Let's walk. We're here at Heritage Christian Church. Beautiful 77-acre campus. We have a beautiful lake over here to my right, and there's a path all the way around it. So we're just going to walk around the lake, and while we're walking, Anthony's going to ask me some questions.
Had fun getting those prepared.
I'm sure.
So, so first off, we're doing a new song this Sunday.
We are doing a new song.
Go ahead and tell us about that.
Okay,
I'm excited to hear about it.
Awesome. So we're doing "Do It Again" by Elevation Worship. This is a song that's been out for a little while, and a lot of people are doing it. A lot of churches are doing it, but I've been kind of waiting on a good time to kind of get this going. You know, to introduce this to our congregation. And I think leading up to Easter is honestly, I just think it's the perfect time. There are so many lyrics in this song that I think people are going to identify with. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness. The bridge, when you get to the bridge, it's I've seen you move the mountains, and I believe you can do it again. You made a way when there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again. It's just a great reminder of God's faithfulness and how God not only has rescued us, but continues to rescue us.
Right.
You know? So I don't know, man. It's great music. I think everybody's gonna like it.
Well, and it's something new.
Yeah.
You know, it's always fun to put new stuff in. You know.
How we doing? Good to see you.
Doing stuff like this. You know,
right.
Episode 1.
Episode 1, right? Yeah.
Episode part. You know, whatever we decide.
Whatever we decide.
Yeah, whatever
right?
we decide to do.
I can't believe that. Like how sore your shoulder's gonna be from just holding a phone up.
Oh man,
ridiculous.
I've done worse. I gotta hit the gym. I'm sure you'd be used to it too. You're carrying a little baby.
Yeah, I know, right? Got a new one.
Little one, yeah.
Ryland Shea. I think right at 3 weeks old or something like that. That's crazy. It's crazy, man. New season of life.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So set lists for Sundays. You know, what pushes you to make those, and what pushes you to
how do I come up with
them? Yeah,
like
how do you come up with them? Like what inspires you to make a set list?
Yeah, and this is kind of this is a really good question, because I think every worship leader, worship pastor, whatever the title may be, has kind of their own little process they go through. And it's not just picking songs that you like. It's not just picking songs that you want to do, or even you identify with. I think there's a long list of things that you really need to go through during the week. First of all, you need to pay attention to what your pastor is talking about, which it's always good to plan. You know, it's always good to be ahead. And so when I know where Pastor Shane is headed, that allows me to at least get an idea of where my mind should be focused leading up to planning that service. Now, I'm not saying that every single song, if we're talking about faith, needs to have faith in it. I'm not saying that every song needs to go with it, but I told you your shoulder would get tired.
Oh yeah, no, my shoulder's shot right now.
But it definitely doesn't hurt, you know? It doesn't hurt to have at least a correlation between what the pastor's talking about and what your songs are about. And then the other two things that I think are vital and very important for worship leaders and worship pastors to be doing: every week you need to be spending time alone or in another setting in worship. A lot of times, because we lead worship, we get the impression that Sunday mornings is the only time that we really worship, and the only time that we really get to do that, or rehearsals on Thursdays. And you need to spend some time alone with God in worship, whatever that means to you. Pray for clarity, things like that. And that's the other thing, is prayer. I mean, you've got to pray for what God wants you to do on a Sunday morning. There are people walking in the door, whether it's the first time or the 100th time, that God has moved in them throughout the week or even that morning. And those are things that you don't know, that are out of your control, that are out of your knowledge and your realm of understanding. And so you've got to allow God to move through you during the week, through your planning process, through your conversations with your pastor and your creative team. And I think if you can do those three things, if you can spend time in worship, if you can pray about the service and ask God to just lead you in the right direction and give you clarity in your decision making, and then pay attention to what your pastor's talking about, I think you can make a really great service, find some great songs that create an optimal environment for people to experience Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. All right, we'll go
Back up this way.
Back up here, and then I'll pull it back down.
So much taller than me. Like, I feel like, yeah, I just need to grow. That's all.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe we'll get you some like big platform shoes.
Like walking. Those would be my walking shoes.
Yeah, walking. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Your ankles.
By the way, we walked around the lake yesterday. Anthony and I did just to like see how long it took and kind of gauge this thing a little bit, planning, right?
Yeah.
And we saw a snake. And so I'm sitting here like looking at the camera and talking to you guys, but I gotta be honest with you, mentally I am scanning everything because I really don't want to see a snake. I really just don't want to do that today. So
well,
I'm a little distracted.
Yesterday it fell in the water, and
no, I screamed like a girl and ran. I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, no, because it's freaky, water moccasin, whatever it was.
That was a copperhead.
It was a copperhead. It was something.
It was bad.
Yeah, it was something. It was after a couple turtles.
Yeah.
So
what else you got?
Sunday mornings, like that's show day. That's you prep a whole week for it.
Absolutely.
And, you pray about it all week, and you never realize who maybe someone might come to God that day, or someone.
I hope so. Yeah, absolutely.
Someone might decide to join the church. But what is your favorite part of Sundays? Sunday morning, you're up there, you're doing your thing.
That scared me a little bit. That's a real, So first of all, if we're doing like baptism, I mean, life change is by far my favorite thing. I mean, there is nothing that beats being part of that, and there is nothing that. There's the tree that the snake was on.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you, it's so scary. But there's a bunch of turtles.
There's a lot of turtles on there. They're just chilling.
So, yeah, there's nothing better if it's a baptism service. There's nothing really better than that to experience and to honestly like just realize that God is using you in a way, or using your team, or using your church, or however you want to look at it, to change a life. Like, that is so humbling and just so incredible. But if we're talking just like regular day-to-day, week to week Sunday, to me, I feel like during worship I have the best seat in the room. A lot of people come to church early, they try to get like a good seat, try to sit in the middle, I want to see the stage, I want to see the pastor. I feel like I've got the best seat in the house because I literally during worship get to see the Spirit move. Like, I heard something over there. Anyways,
big snake.
Yeah, I literally get to see like people go and through posture changes. I get to see them go from standing still to starting to move a little, to raising one hand, to raising both hands, to clapping, to singing louder. I mean, there's something really powerful about starting a song and the congregation barely kind of being involved, and you even as a worship leader sometimes will have that doubt creep in your mind where you're like, maybe this isn't good, or maybe they're not into it, or whatever, because whether you believe it or not, like everybody on stage is really feeding off the congregation. Like, we're trying to create a moment, and so sometimes you feel like you've really failed in those moments. And then you get to like the bridge or towards the end of the song, and suddenly everyone's singing louder, and you can just tell that there's a better connection. You can just tell that people are more into it, and that to me that never gets old. It's just an incredible thing every Sunday to really feel and see evidence that the Spirit is moving and changing people's perspective, changing their hearts, changing their minds, changing their posture. It's just the best seat in the house. It's my favorite thing.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Let's see. There were a couple heavy questions.
We're making the final turn. Maybe we should slow down.
Maybe we should slow down a little bit.
Slow down a little bit. Go ahead.
All right.
Heavy questions.
Yeah, heavy. Less heavy. There's a couple. Those are the ducks from yesterday.
Yep.
Got a
Good
couple.
to know they're alive. That snake was close.
Oh yeah, that snake was very close. Let's see. So just a little bit about yourself. How long have you been a worship pastor or worship leader,
So-
what kind of brought you to it?
Yeah, so I grew up in a pastor's kid. So I've been around church and ministry and all of that my entire life, but haven't really dedicated my life to ministry. But for, let's see, I guess it's been like 6 years now, 7 years maybe.
It's a decent amount of time.
Yeah, but you know, it was something my entire life that I fought. You know, growing up and seeing what a church and a congregation, you guys know, like what it can do to morale and your family and your kids and your wife and your friends. I mean, everything revolves around the church. When you're a pastor, when you work at a church, everything revolves around the church. So seeing my family experience that, honestly, I just didn't want any part of it. And I did everything I could up until I was about 26. I did everything I could to not be involved in it. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to participate, and I definitely didn't want to work at a church. And honestly, God just gave me some clarity, gave me some great people in my life, great mentors in my life that helped me see that this is what I was built for. You know, this is what I was made for, and that I've got to honor God with the gifts He's given me, and helped me find passion and energy through serving the local church. And that's really just, I mean, honestly, man, that's what it's always come back to. So I'd love to sit here and be like, I knew I was going to do it my whole life or something like that, but I think God probably knew.
Yeah.
You know, I think God knew, and I think God built me for it. And
I feel like that's how it normally goes. You sit back and say, I'm probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
And then God's like, see.
Right, be careful what you say you're not going to do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and He's just going to be like, yeah, no, you're doing that.
Yeah.
Because you're good at it.
Right.
And you're going to do it.
Right. So I resisted as long as I could, I felt like, and God straightened me out and put me in a great place, and honestly just put me around some great people, and those people are thankfully enough still around me today. And so
Awesome.
so yeah, we keep rolling. Look, we are completing our lap here. This is
The
our
last lap,
first
yeah,
installment
first ever.
here of Wednesday Walks with Drew. This is Anthony. I'm Drew. Thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
I guess we'll see you next Wednesday.
Sounds good.
Later.
Take it easy, guys.